So today, if you look at the global payments landscape, domestic payments have, for the most part, been solved. You have real-time payment systems all over the world domestically. But then when it comes to moving money between domestic real-time payment systems across currencies, banking systems, account format types difference, then you rely on correspondent banking and SWIFT that moves $5 trillion a day, 50 plus years after it was invented, which takes, on average 2 to 3 days to clear. Doesn't work Friday after 5 p.m. or on weekends or on bank holidays. That's why we call them that, by the way. And that's kind of a sad state of things for 2025. And what we believe is the world needs an open money grid that enables money to move freely on the internet, the same way that any other content. Believe that Bitcoin is the only thing that's actually neutral enough and decentralized enough and unassailable enough to be that open money grid to interoperate all of the domestic payment systems, all of the currencies and the stable coins and assets. And so that's what we're building at Lightspark, is we're making Bitcoin fast and cheap and interoperable with all of the currencies and payment systems in the world.
Meta reviving its stablecoin ambitious, given what's happened in Washington, D.C. and the changing conversation around crypto and the blockchain.
Well, I think that if Libra was attempting to launch right now, it would probably go through.
Say Libra was something of lit a bit of a fire. This is something we've been focused on digital currencies for a couple decades. This is something we've been focused on digital currencies for couple decades.
I think for the past month, ever since an inauguration, there's been a lot of very much positive sentiment following the overall market, and also a lot of volatility that comes with it for both the crypto and also the macro market. And given the heavily correlated nature of crypto market with the macro condition at the moment, I think we're going to see some choppiness and some local volatility for the next month or two.
We're looking at that and believing that Bitcoin probably has a correction in it, maybe as low as 80,000. That's probably aggressive, but I do think that there's some downside to Bitcoin here that we want to be careful.
Decided specifically what the auto tariff rate should be.
Yeah, I probably will tell you that on April 2nd. But it'll be in the neighborhood of 25%.
Elon Musk has unveiled his new high-powered AI model called Grok 3. He claims it outperforms OpenAI and DeepSeek based on early testing. Shares of rival Meta, perhaps coincidentally, are perhaps not, down 3.5% today to break their 20-day win streak. And as for OpenAI, leader Sam Altman is now trying to shield the company from hostile takeovers, potentially from Musk himself. Although as of last month, it will no longer be the sole cloud provider. So where does all of this leave Microsoft in the AI race? Here on set with us is Dean Carignan. He's Director of AI Innovations at Microsoft and co-author of the new book out today called The Insider's Guide to Innovation at Microsoft. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Give me some give us all some inside, trade secrets. What a cool job.
So 20 years at Microsoft. About 5 years ago, I met my co-author, Joanne, who had just joined. And we looked around the world and we saw, wow, the world is changing fast. And in fact, in the era of generative AI, it's going to move faster.
Mm-hmm. So you saw this coming 5 years ago.
What
did you guys have any? The OpenAI partnership was more recent, so it sounds like Microsoft maybe had its own things going on that front.
You can zero in on the tasks that AI is good at and needs to help with, and you can be much more intentional and precise in how you roll the AI out.
Is AI going to take all of our jobs?
I don't believe so.
Why not?
And I'm a father of 2 children. By adopting AI smartly, you can bring it in to do the things that you would rather avoid and outsource, and you can go into the activities that are truly human. Creativity, collaboration, negotiation, supporting teams, and bringing coalitions together. So I believe that's the path that we're on.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have the old CEO of Meta's Libra stablecoin, David Marcus, pushing blockchain and digital assets. But what he left out is that SWIFT has an updated system, and then plus teamed up with Chainlink, so therefore they have the all-seeing eye. We know they're not going to give us the complete truth, but he was asked about Meta, if they was to revive a stable coin, And he stated it would definitely go through. But remember, guys, this is a plan. It moves in phases. Now we have the mainstream media saying that Bitcoin has some downside. But where did you hear that from first? That's right, the crypto teacher. You know, I give you the truth, none but the truth. Yes, the truth hurts, but it sets you free. And we see liquidity shrinking. Even when we look at the repo, even though it went up slightly, the repo has been nowhere near what it was, guys. We know it was like $2.6 trillion. So they wiped off over $2 trillion. Now we have Trump tariffs. And Trump says, when will the 25% tariffs kick in on automobiles? What did he say? April 2nd. Remember I told you guys, they're timing these tariffs with the Fed. They don't want to tank the market. They got to keep the sheep asleep. You're going to have a correction, but they're not going to tank it just yet. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have Elon Musk launching Grok 3. And like I told you guys, Grok 2000 is behind the curtain. And when we look at Microsoft, Microsoft is pushing every area of the fourth industrial revolution. We know what the agenda is. That's turning your life into a video game. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And is AI going to take all the jobs? The AI, robots, algorithms, and drones are going to take 60 to 70% of jobs. The jobs that are going to be left are going to be left to those who are willing to create. And how many times have I told you that? Remember, my people perish from the lack of knowledge because they reject it. The knowledge is definitely at your fingerprints. And we have housing prices have taken the younger generation out. But again, guys, unless they're willing to get back creating. You have 5-year-old kids in Africa are in a mine, in a cobalt mine, trying to make money for their family. When it comes to this generation, if I was 8, 9, 10 years old, I would be making hundreds of thousands of dollars because that's where my mindset was at. These kids have an opportunity to make more money than their parents. And you don't have to be in sports or Hollywood. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now we have Southwest cutting 15% of those corporate jobs. And remember, guys, those are the good jobs. When you leave that job, you're just not going to another job like that. And I'm an old man. For the past few decades, they've been always cutting at the bottom. Now we're saying they're cutting at the top this time. Because by the time they get to the bottom, we know universal basic income will be here. And now that we have Trump in office, he's ready to pile in that debt. Give these corporations all these tax cuts. And I told you in the NWO book that these corporations are going to be your new government. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Because he knows. When it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Kelly and I both went to high school and college in Virginia. We have a lot of friends in D.C. My brother-in-law is a realtor in Maryland, so we know what's going on. Let me ask this. I know Doge and the cost cuts are getting all the attention, Daniel, but also if I look at Falls Church, Virginia, or Fairfax, Virginia, or Silver Spring, Maryland, 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes are like $900,000 now. It's been the hottest economy in America 30 years. Is there a part of you, even as a realtor, and you make your living off optimism, I get it, that just says, man, things, maybe they just got a little too expensive for the average family with interest rates at, 7%, $900,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath ranch?
Sure. Look, things are definitely cooling off. But look, interest rates are 7%. Folks are being a little bit more cautious, and you look, I see this as a regularity, not necessarily a total softening. There is still a very big need for housing in Washington. Inventory has been historically tight.
When you look at the announcement from Southwest, which came out yesterday afternoon, 15% of its corporate jobs will be cut, approximately 1,750 jobs, and they're going deep. They're cutting 11 senior leaders. They're going to be let go as part of this cutback here. Important to point out here that these job cuts will not impact service. So pilots, mechanics, flight attendants, they are not part of the job cuts at Southwest. This is strictly on the corporate side. The thing to keep in mind is that the savings this year will be $210 million. That's the estimate from the company, with a charge of between $60 and $80 million that the company will be taking this year. Those numbers, by the way, both increase in 2025.
The House has a bill that seeks to deficit fund almost $4.5 trillion options for paying for this. Well, three really. The tariffs, which have yet to go on in a meaningful way. DOGE, which they're hoping will generate $1 to $2 trillion, and then a series of $880 billion worth of Medicaid cuts from the Energy and Commerce Committee. So that's really pits the Senate against the House, various members in the deficit hawk community against more moderate members that are looking out for their Medicaid patients, rural hospitals, things along those lines. And then on the other side of Capitol Hill, you have White House and DOGE, where they have just now entered into the Social Security administration buildings, and their leader has actually just resigned in protest because Musk is getting access to that information from, 68 million retirees and Social Security recipients.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary